The next topic is very interesting. It's slightly different from what we have been listening to through the day, and I'm really curious for it more because it's something that has touched every aspect for everybody's lives. I think since the time that we came to be settlers, settling in the earliest settlements, the need for sanitation as a existential thing was there. I mean, they realized it then throughout the civilizations which were, I mean, I think the earliest recorded history is like 3000 BC, that people knew that they had to have wastewater management systems. And then over the years, different civilizations that propagated across the world. Some may have been influenced by travelers, some discovered it on their own, but all of them had basic sanitation set up in order to drain away the wastewater and ensure that probably their setups were disease free and pollution free. Today we have a speaker who has about a decade of experience doing. What does it say here? It says he's got a mechanical engineering thing, but he's got a master's in innovation and entrepreneurship management. He currently is a director of operations and business development at Fluid Analytics India. Please put your hands together for Mr. Suraj Hiremath, who will be talking on robotics and AI revolutionizing wastewater management.
Hi, am I audible? Yes. Thank you. Thank you, first of all, to NASSCOM to giving us this opportunity to present ourselves at this wonderful event. And thank you to the host as well, who could give us a bit about the history. He told about sanitation has been existing for ages. I mean, you name it, even in, let's say, Egyptian eras, we found out that, there's a sanitation network. So let's see how we can connect these dots and make it a bit more interesting for us. So, Fluid Analytics is a water analytics company working with municipalities, contractors, and utilities across the globe to tackle urban water pollution. Most of us will be knowing what is urban water pollution, but please allow me to go in a bit more of depth. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. Perfect. So urban water pollution is something, imagine you flush water. Every morning we do our daily chores, and once this water is flushed, where does it lead to? What do you all think? Where does this water go? Any answers? Yeah. Oh, I heard someone saying rivers. Someone said something else. Like sewage treatment plants. Sadly, 80% of the water which has been generated in India from the wastewater networks is going directly into the rivers, lakes, or coastlines. This has catastrophic implications on the environment and the society, and mostly on the public health. So this is the problem statement what Fluid Analytics has been solving since 2016. To give you another statistics, every day, nearly 50 billion liters of water is being discharged into these rivers, lakes, and coastlines without any treatment. So how are we solving this? So we have an array of robotic platforms. So one such platform is this robot, which can be deployed into the manholes and can traverse the wastewater networks. So this is deployed into the wastewater network, and it collects the structural health of the pipe. Every day we use road transport. We see a lot of potholes. We see all those uncanny speed breakers. Sometimes we complain about it. But we can complain because we see them. Underground infrastructure is a huge mystery. We do not know what is happening underground. So with this robot, we are able to capture the data, what is happening underground, what are the different defects. Let's say even underground in the pipes, there are cracks, broken pieces, and so on, which will eventually lead to the collapse of the wastewater network if it is not treated on time. Some of the other use cases of this robotic platform is to map the environment. As I mentioned, there are a lot of illicit connections. The pipeline network should be going to a sewage treatment plant, but in most of the cases, that is not happening. So we are able to identify, we are able to digitize the underground network and provide this as an actionable insight to the municipalities. So we give them a GIS model and say that Say, for example, this is a lake where the water was previously being discharged. Now, with our robotic platform, this can be diverted and it can go to a sewage treatment plant. Coming to the most important concern, which is the public health. So, in fact, when the COVID variant started, when the COVID virus started, we could see that the whole world came to a standstill. Everyone was fighting in a different way, like the frontline workers, the doctors, and so on. Even during that time, fluid analytics intervened. So what we did is, we were tracking the wastewater health. So we have built an in-house automatic sampler device with which we collect the samples without any contamination. And we work with different laboratories. Say, for example, in Pune, we partnered with NCL, where we sent the wastewater samples and they detected the Omicron variant even before it was detected in other parts of the world. So there's a video which is supposed to play. Yeah. Yes. So when all this data, which is captured by our robotic platforms, goes to our analytics engine. So we have built an automated defect recognition engine, which is able to identify all these defects automatically. So that is on the left side of your screen. You can see different defects which are being identified by the AI. And on the right side of the screen, you can see the software platform wherein all this data is provided to the municipalities or utilities. So with which all these companies are able to decide what to do, how can we intervene? Because at the end, we provide the data and these companies need to act on it. So all these reports help them take more sustainable decisions. So since the theme is also tech in action, and as I told you earlier, there was one of the robots which is also displayed at our booth, just around the corner, you can see over there later. That is in action over here on the left side of your screen. It is traversing the pipe, collecting all the data. So it's an array of multi-sensor platform. This is the visual data, what you see. Along with that, you can capture the sonar data. So say, for example, you have a water pipeline. Even the water pipelines need to be inspected for any cross-contamination. Imagine drinking up contaminated water. It has disastrous effect on our health. So, Fluid Analytics is the only startup in India which is providing a holistic approach towards water management. On the left, you saw all the robotic platforms which I explained earlier, which is ultimately processed by our Fluid Analytics platform, and then it is presented to our customers in a much more actionable way. As I explained earlier, since 2016, we have been able to have a very positive impact on the environment. And some of the few key metrics are, we have been able to monitor nearly 1.3 liters of wastewater. And also nearly 800 million liters of urban water pollution has been resolved. And at the first slide, you might have seen a person doing the manual scavenging of the manhole. That is one of the biggest problems. We have technology. Technology is not a barrier, but the biggest problem is the adoption. So we are building tools so that companies can adopt it and make the best use of it. And with that, we have been able to avoid 20,000 hours of manual scavenging. And coming to the public health metric, so we have been able to monitor nearly 12.5 million population. So one of the examples is, in Jodhpur, we have a project running where we have been able to assess the spread of certain diseases. Most of the diseases, especially viral diseases, have a seasonal pattern. Say, for example, hepatitis as a virus. So we have been able to monitor that population for any presence of hepatitis viruses. So we are not only working in India, we have been also working across the globe. So we have been working in Singapore, Chile, Spain, and US. And in India, we have done projects in Pune, Mumbai, Delhi, Chandigarh, and so on. And our organizations span from municipalities to the private companies. And we have been also recognized by a few government bodies and a few leading accelerator programs in the water sector. So these are the founders, Asim Bhalerao and Nidhi Jain, who are the brain behind this company. And with them, we have a team of 25 plus people who are working day in, day out to leave a positive remark, positive impact on the earth. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please feel free to ask any questions. Yes, that's a really good question. So what we have done as of now, especially with the COVID, we could see that now COVID is not present, but even still, we are working with NCL to send the samples. So we have been seeing that before there was presence of COVID variant, now there has been a reduction of COVID. So along with that, we have other data capturing as well, mostly on the robotics. We have seen that once we give the reports to our customers, they do intervene. Let's say we do a grading system of the pipelines. Some of the pipelines which are very bad in state, the municipalities do intervene and repair them or rehabilitate them. I think that's all. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all for attention.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Can we wait for the memento, please?